Greetings, humans. You know what time it is. It's Saturday afternoon. It must be time for the Football Diehards injury review, preview, update, overview thing for Week 8. I'm Bob Harris, senior editor here. And there's a lot going on, a fair number of game time decisions, those kind of things. As always, I'll go through them in chronological order so you have a better understanding of what kind of fallback options you might need at any given point in time. I'll start out by reminding you the Ravens and Cowboys are on a bye this week. Get them out of your lineups. Pat Mahomes is out, been ruled out. Among the players ruled out, I'll go through all of them. But we'll start with the early afternoon kickoffs. Arizona is at New Orleans, and there's a lot going on there. Drew Brees is questionable. Alvin Kamara is questionable. Jared Cook and Traquan Smith both ruled out, so no decisions there. On the other side of the ball, David Johnson and Christian Kirk are game time decisions. Look, we've been here with David Johnson before, like in last week. We saw how that went for us. The game time decision went our way. The playing time did not. Look, these things happen, right? There's a fair amount of uncertainty involved with any injured player coming back on game time decisions, and that's something you need to deal with. Obviously, nobody knew he was only going to play 3 snaps, or nobody would have played him. Chase Edmonds, of course, came in and exploded with 27 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. So it's a tougher matchup this week playing in New Orleans. Chase Edmonds would be the guy. Look, it would be hard for me to play Johnson this week, not knowing that he's materially or certainly healthier than he was last week, given the tougher matchup. I think I could still play Evans even if there was David Johnson. I would eagerly play Chase Edmonds if there was not a David Johnson. Christian Kirk, we've been without him for 3 weeks now. I have a feeling he'll be back, but I don't see a need to force him back into your fantasy lineups, even if he is. But that'll be a decision you'll make if he's active, and we'll have, of course, all these game time decisions will be announced on the site in real time, leading in the 90 minutes leading up to kickoff. On the other side, Brees seems likely to come back. I mean, the one factor here to keep in mind: the Falcons have a bye next week, so they could, or the Saints have a bye next week, so they could actually hold off and give another full week of healing for both Brees and Kamara. Kamara seems more likely or very likely to play to me. Latavius Murray fared well in his absence. Obviously, I'd love to play Murray if there is no Kamara. If there is a Kamara, I'd probably play him. Look, it's a great matchup against Arizona's defense in general. So if these guys are active, I'm probably playing them. I have a league where I'll have a decision to make on Drew Brees or Derek Carr. I'll probably play Drew Brees if he's active over Derek Carr. So there you have it. So Breezy Kamara game time decisions, David Johnson and Christian Kirk game time decisions with nuance, right, in all these cases. So just be ready to deal with that. Keenan Allen is questionable against Chicago. This one is a little bit of an issue here. Mike Badgley also questionable against Chicago. Anthony Lynn said he won't kick this week, so Chase McLaughlin gets another week. But on Keenan Allen, he came down with a hamstring middle of the week, added the injury report Thursday, didn't practice Friday, and Anthony Lynn said after Friday's practice that even if he's active, and that'll be decided in pregame warmups, that maybe we would expect a limited workload. So Jeremy Davis would move up in the rotation if Allen's out. So that's one worth watching. Matt Ryan, a game time decision. And there was a move this morning. Danny Etling was promoted, or is reportedly going to be promoted. We'll get the official on that before the end of the afternoon. But this seems to be heading in a direction where Ryan will not play against the Seattle Seahawks. He did get on the practice field Friday on a limited basis. But it sounds like they won't push him back either. So Matt Schaub will fill in if that's the case. And then, look, I think you're still playing Julio Jones. I'd still be playing Austin Hooper. Calvin Ridley. Maybe there's a broader or wider range of options available to me if Matt Schaub is playing. He was pretty solid in relief last week, 6 of 6, but I don't know if I'd expect that efficiency. Well, I do know. I would not expect that efficiency to continue. Buffalo Bills are hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. We'd like to attack that Eagle secondary. Duke Williams, the wide receiver, is questionable with a shoulder injury. Not sure he'll be able to do that. If he is active, I'd probably be looking to play him because everybody who plays Philadelphia fares reasonably well. On the other side of the ball, no Deshaun Jackson, no Darren Sproles. Deshaun Jackson getting closer, but still not there. Talked to Dave Spadaro from PhiladelphiaEagles.com Friday, and he said nobody knows. When I kind of pressed him and said, hey, I heard there was a week 7 to 9 window, he said, nope, no window, nobody knows. So they're going to try and run him a little harder next week as they did this week, and so far to no avail. And it's hurting the offense, not having someone who can tear the top off a defense. So maybe we'll see something in the trade market in the coming days. Robbie Anderson of the Jets is available. if I might make a suggestion to the Eagles front office. D.D. Westbrook taking on the New York Jets is listed as questionable. He played through this injury last week and played quite well, but he's been, hasn't gotten in a full week of practice, so that's one worth watching. Marquise Lee is off the injury report, so he'd move up. Chris Conley would move up in the rotation if Westbrook isn't there. He's been very effective, though. Kind of under the radar with DJ Chark drawing all the attention. Chris Herndon on the other side of the ball listed as doubtful with a hamstring issue he's been dealing with since he injured it as he was coming off suspension heading into week 6. So I'm guessing next week for Herndon, but it won't be this week. We know that. AJ Green in London, the Rams and the Bengals. AJ Green ruled out. We'll see if there are any trade stuff going on here. The trade deadline is Tuesday, by the way, the 29th. So we'll know on some of these guys. The Bengals have insisted they aren't going to trade him, but there's a lot of people who wonder if that will be the case or not. The other side of the ball, Malcolm Brown's been ruled out as well. So everybody else up and running. For the Giants hosting or at Detroit, Sterling Shepard is ruled out again. Everybody else is good to go in that game. The Colts, Jack Doyle was added the injury report on Friday going up against Denver. He had a groin injury in practice Friday. He's listed as questionable. This one seems really uncertain to me. Obviously, Eric Ebron's there. Mo Alley Cox would pick up the pace a little bit if Doyle can't go. Doyle's been catching a fair number of balls at the position, getting the bulk of the playing time, so we'd see more Ebron. Paris Campbell, also questionable, missed the last 2 games with after having an abdominal issue repaired surgically, or had a procedure. I don't think they like to say surgery. So he looks like he's close to his return. For Tampa Bay at Tennessee, O.J. Howard's been ruled out with a hamstring injury. There is a lot of local speculation. I'll have an article on the main page of the site here and shortly suggesting that this may be a prelude to a trade. So that's something to watch. Been a lot of talk. I mean, the Buccaneers obviously aren't getting a lot out of him, and maybe it's time to move on and see what they can get in return. Delaney Walker ruled out of that game as well with the ankle injury. Jonnu Smith moves up in the rotation in Walker's absence. Late afternoon kickoffs. Josh Jacobs is questionable against the Houstons. That'll be in Houston. Tyrell Williams also questionable. Will Fuller ruled out on the other side of the ball. Kenny Stills moves into the starting lineup. I like him a lot. Check out my DFS 3 and out column this week and explains why. As for Jacobs, he says he'll play. Gruden says he'll play. It's a late afternoon kickoff. I'd want to have a fallback before I roll with him just in case there's a setback or something happens in pregame warm-ups. He did play through the injury last week, so if you're a bold individual, I think all signs point to him playing, but always good to have a fallback, right? As Tyrell Williams, he's missed the last 2 games with a foot issue, plantar fasciitis they call it. It sounds like he's ready to return. Worked on a limited basis all week, so it seems likely he will return. The Patriots are hosting the Cleveland Browns. Rex Burkhead, Julian Edelman, Gunnar Olszewski, I can say that, remain questionable. I would expect Edelman to continue playing. He hurt the chest in week 3. He's played every week since, or played mostly since. So Rex Burkhead hasn't played the last couple games. So he seems very questionable to me, and I don't know that I'd be counting on him. Ryan Izzo and Matt LaCoste, the tight ends, ruled out. Josh Gordon, in case you missed it, was placed on injured reserve early this week. They traded for Mohamed Sanu, so there will be some new faces or a new face there. Watch that. Bill Belichick has long coveted Sanu. Josh Gordon's likely to be released in 1 or 2 weeks. When he is released, he'll be able to sign with other teams, so that'll be something to watch down the stretch, although I feel like we're all chasing that 2013 Josh Gordon, and it's not 2013 anymore. But that's another conversation. For the San Francisco 49ers, hosting the Carolina Panthers. No Cam Newton for the Panthers, of course. Raheem Mostert is questionable with a knee injury. And Marquise Goodwin is questionable for personal reasons. We've seen this with him before. I don't have a real good feel for this. Debo Samuel's off the injury report. George Kittle's off the injury report. And Emmanuel Sanders has been acquired in a trade from Denver. So it sounds like he'll come in and have an immediate role. He's got a pretty good understanding of the offense. Rick Scangarello, the Broncos offensive coordinator, was previously the 49ers quarterback coach. So the offenses are similar. So I think the 49ers believe Sanders can come in and contribute immediately. I think he kind of moves in as their wide receiver 1. Dante Pettis, also off the injury report, by the way, had a knee issue early in the week. Kind of hasn't developed as they expected or as fantasy owners expected. Samuel's been really good, but as a rookie, a little bit inconsistent. So maybe Sanders gives them a viable threat down the field, a viable number one. George Kittle's always going to be their receiver one here this year at least. So, but Emmanuel Sanders could give him a little more. Sunday Night Football, Devontae Adams listed as doubtful. Don't expect him to play. He says his toe is 2 million times better this week. So, God, think how bad it must have been if he's still doubtful and it's 2 million times better. Robert Tonyan, the tight end, also doubtful for this game. Patrick Mahomes ruled out. Matt Moore will start for him. If you watch the Friday night video with Emil and I, we go into some depth as to who we trust in Kansas City with Matt Moore starting, and we talk at length about Matt Moore. But he will be your starter until Mahomes returns. Mahomes is rehabbing. He's been on the practice field doing very limited work, but on the field, so that's an encouraging sign. It sounds like the Chiefs think he can beat that 3-week timetable that was originally announced, but it'll be one to watch in coming days. Monday night looks like everyone will be back for both teams. Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant working fully this week. And for the Steelers, everyone is Juju Smith-Schuster missed a day because I'm just seeing Chris Herndon's been ruled out here. So there we have that. So no longer doubtful. Chris Herndon ruled out. But for the Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster missed a day with illness, but he's back working fully. Jalen Samuels working fully, just a couple weeks removed from a knee procedure. We'll see if they push him back into the fray against Miami. James Washington with the shoulder, he's missed a couple weeks. Looks like he'll return. He's working fully, so everything's on track there. So there we have it. It's week 8. Remember to hit the main page of the website. Tons of content up. Videos with me and Emil, Bobby Gomes, and Kyle Dvorak doing DFS roster build Wednesday night. They'll be live Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time, doing last-minute lineup, tune-ups, etc., taking your questions. So get in on that. We'll have on the late-breaking update section of the site real-time inactive announcements as they come to our attention. I'll be on SiriusXM Radio doing the pregame show with Jeff Mans. You can also listen to Football Diehards on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio every day at 6 p.m. during the week. We're on Saturday nights, too, on NFL Radio from 8 to 11. So tune that in if you're a Sirius subscriber. Otherwise, hit the main page of the site. Tons of content. John Lobb's DraftKings sheet of knowledge just went up a short time ago. Tons of other stuff. Justin Lanero, Kyle, Bobby, myself, Gary Davenport, Mike Valverde, Brad Cruz, Matthew Sharon. The whole crew is out there getting stuff done. So check it out. Good luck this week. We'll talk to you next week.